Washington. Let's go to Liberal Senator James Paterson. These very concerning developments in the Middle East. Senator Paterson, your thoughts on what we've seen overnight?
Yeah, look, obviously the loss of life is just horrific and really troubling, and Australia, of course, is very sorry to hear about these deaths. I don't accept the characterisation of some in the media, though, that these protests on the Gaza border are about the US Embassy. These protests, in fact, started a number of weeks ago, and in fact, the first losses of life occurred a number of weeks ago. These protests are occurring, so-called protests, because the terrorist organisation Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip, is busing people to the border with Israel and deliberately provoking a confrontation with the IDF on the border. Even though there's been a loss of life, the Hamas continues to bus people to the Gaza border, knowing that there will be a further loss of life, because that helps suit their narrative of painting the Israelis as being barbaric. So that's why these protests are taking place, and that's why these lives are being lost.
Let's bring our focus closer to home now, and in fact to your own pre-selection in terms of the politics. The Herald Sun reports as many as 8 Victorian Liberal MPs could face pre-selection fights. First-term Senators Jane Hume and James Paterson among them, according to Rob Harris and Tom Muneer in the Herald Sun this morning. Is that true? Are you expecting to face a pre-selection battle?
I think, Kieran, it's worth taking a step back and asking, why is Liberal pre-selection so hard fought after? And the reason that is that the truth is, as special as we may think we are, none of us are going to get elected to Parliament if we don't have the word Liberal next to our name on the ballot paper. So it's a massive privilege to be an endorsed Liberal candidate, and with that privilege comes great scrutiny, and it's scrutiny that I welcome. One thing I think that Canberra press gallery journalists, with all due respect, don't really appreciate or understand is that Liberal branch members are the custodians of that Liberal brand. They're the keepers of the flame, and it is up to them to decide whether who should be going to Canberra and for how long they should be there. And you don't just have to earn your pre-selection once the first time and you'd be guaranteed it for 20 years. You have to keep earning it every day. Yeah. So personally, I'm very happy to submit myself and my record to branch members, and I trust their judgment implicitly.
Well, Michael Kroger yesterday on this program said the notion that any MP has a seat for life is nonsense. You know, it sounds like you support that assessment of things by the Victorian Liberal Party president, but in terms of female representation, a big focus on Jane Hume. What's your personal view on her? Should she remain in the Senate?
Well, Michael's absolutely right. None of us have our seats for life, and all of us have to earn that endorsement every time we wish to stand, and it can be taken away at any time if branch members feel that we haven't been doing our job appropriately. Jane is a really valued colleague and a close friend. I think she and I make a good team. I think we've got complementary skills and interests, so I hope that she is re-endorsed. But ultimately, it's not a decision for me or any of my colleagues or anyone in the media to make. It's a decision for the 450 pre-selectors to make, and we have to trust and accept their judgment, whatever it is.
Has there been a Conservative takeover of the party, as has been reported from the Victorian Liberal ranks, and certainly those forces around Michael Sukar and others in Victoria, that they've got control over the party now? Is that right?
Well, I think it's overstated. Liberal internal politics certainly ebbs and flows, and the philosophical direction of the party does shift from time to time, but it's often more due to things that are happening in society and in politics than it is due to internal machinations in the Liberal Party. So, for example, yes, there are people who have Christian faith and conservative Christians who are joining the Liberal Party at the moment. That's not surprising when they feel that their values are under assault, and when politics takes an interest in you take an interest in politics, and they feel with things like safe schools and same-sex marriage and lack of religious freedom protections around same-sex marriage, that they have to be involved in politics in a way that they might not have been previously.
Senator Paterson, great to chat as always. We'll catch you soon. A quick break.